Black Focus Radio are not the views and opinions of the station, its management, or its advertisers. Now, let's get ready to focus on our issues, our solutions, using our voices on Black Focus Radio.
Welcome to Black Focus, the show designed with our community in mind, where we focus on our issues.
Ms. Josephine, we're going to get you on the mic one of these days. Don't be shy. Yeah, don't be shy. You probably do better than what your man doing. You know? We need to talk about some black women's issues.
I told him if he didn't listen to what I had to say, y'all would have to talk about y'all.
We need to talk about some black women's issues. All right, y'all have a good one. Hey, what's happening? Welcome to the show, Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with us. If you want to join the show, and I sincerely hope you will. A lot of stuff to talk about today on the Thursday edition of Black Focus Radio. We'll get into that in just a wee bit. But before we do that, let me holler to and my co-host, Robert Weld. Hey, Robert.
What's happening, brother?
Why you all gussied up today? Got your little, I see you got a little shave on your head. Everything is shining like new money. What you gonna be doing, huh?
There you go, man.
Just look at don't he look cute, y'all? Look at him.
Put the camera on me.
Look, they ain't trying to be bashful. I can't stand a bashful black man. What is wrong with you? You know, if you were down there in front of the city council, city board, you wouldn't be bashful. How you doing, man?
What's up, black man?
I'm doing all right,
Y'all
man.
just trying to give a brother a hard time.
I'm just trying to give you a little love, man. You know, you might be an eligible bachelorette out there that might want to curry your favor. Well, I will tell you that Little Rock made the national news. We'll talk about that. We will talk a little bit about the march yesterday and why Robert didn't go. And I'll tell you why I didn't go either. I knew about the march. In fact, I was over at Central yesterday prior to it starting. I was in Quigley Stadium, so I knew about the march.
You just didn't give a damn.
Well, no, it ain't that. I'll don't try to put words in my mouth. I can wax poetically, so I will do so here in just a little bit. But we'll talk about that as well. Of course, we got to talk about Ranger Rogers in Texas. Brother got on the stand and said, "Hey, she acted reasonable. I'd have killed him too." That's basically what he said. Okay. By the way, he's a black man. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit here as well. But before we get started, we got to christen the show properly. So let's go ahead and do some black facts.
Dynamic Black Facts. Our culture, our history, our people.
All right, what's been my theme? Robert, what's been my theme on my black facts as of late, about the last 4 months?
Taco Bell. Popeye's chicken sandwich.
I'm trying to have a good show today, and we ain't 7 minutes into the show, and you bring in your jocularity.
I'm just being honest. That's what I think. I mean, that's what I remember. You've been talking a lot about the Popeye's chicken sandwich.
No.
Oh.
Reparations. By the way,
Reparations, that's right.
all of you went out. I noticed that some of you all downloaded the song called Reparations. Keep spreading that. That's pretty cool. But today's Black Fact is it's about a digital library on American slavery. People, not property. Slave deeds in North Carolina. The People Not Property Project is a collaborative endeavor between the UNCG University Libraries, North Carolina Division of Archives and Records, and North Carolina Registers of Deeds, among others. Working as an addition to and evolution of the digital library on American slavery, the project is leading towards a unique centralized database of bills of sales, indexing the names of enslaved people from across North Carolina. When complete, Property Not People, Slave Deeds of North Carolina will include robust metadata, high-resolution images, and full-text searchable scripts. We hope to open the project to states beyond North Carolina, creating a central location for accessing and research slave deeds from across southern states. Slave deeds are property deeds, bills of sale, deeds of trust, divisions of property, registered with county courts and registers of deeds that contain information about enslaved individuals. Sometimes these individuals are listed only by number, but more often they are listed by name and age, providing invaluable historical information for historians and genealogists. The slave deed shown below is from Balcom County. Of course, you can't see this, but there's a picture of a slave deed for the sale of a Negro woman named Rachel, about 26 years old, and this was on January 1816. Robert, how much you think they sold Rachel for?
$20.
No, more than that.
200.
More than that.
500.
Yeah, you can go down. $375. Rachel was sold by William Moore to Ann Ashworth. Documents like this one, along with the other components of the Digital Library of American Slavery, documents like these will help to restore personal details to the history of slavery and to trace the movement of enslaved peoples over time. For genealogists, even small details like first names and approximate ages can be precious leads in reconstructing family histories. UNC Greensboro University Libraries has received a 3-year, $290,000 grant from the National Historic Publications and Records Commission to digitize nearly 10,000 North Carolina slave deeds and bills of sale, create a comprehensive database for the digitized records, and transcribe the full text of these documents. Grant funding and project development began October 1st, 2018. The ultimate goal of the project is to digitize slave deeds across the state of North Carolina. In the first phase, we are working with 26 counties. Surveys about participation were sent to all 100 counties in the state, and the 26 listed above responded favorably to the survey and have relevant records. Other counties either did not respond or to the survey, or do not have records going back that far. This may be due to the destruction of records by flooding, fire, or in the case of western counties especially, the late date of establishment as counties. And that's our Black Fact for today.
Keep listening to Black Focus Radio for more dynamic Black facts, our culture, our history, our people. On Joynet Radio.
And if you want to sponsor Black Facts, call me at 615-554-0568, and we'll hook you up with some great advertising packages. Now, here's why I brought that up, because this could be to the detriment of a lot of people as it relates to reparations. Because if the University of North Carolina, Greensboro is archiving slave deeds, then that means, and if other southern states go along with this, which I doubt it after they understand the implications, then this is a record, an exact record, potentially, of people who were enslaved, and if their ancestors still live today, then guess what? That's their proof.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
That's their proof. Because the first thing they tell you is that, oh, well, we don't know where those records are, or they're up in a attic somewhere, or they've been destroyed by fire. And to some extent they have been. But to some extent those records still exist. I mean, when was the courthouse downtown? Doesn't it? I mean, the city board building. Wasn't it 1907? Isn't that what's on the building?
I don't remember. I think that might be it.
I think it's 1907. So I would be curious to know if someone went back and went through those archives, because I'm willing to bet you those archives are still intact in some cases. I'd be curious to know here. But the problem you're going to have with this is a wonderful effort. By the way, thanks, Jackie. I think it's a great black fact. Because the one thing that you hear a lot of white people say when they talk of reparations, well, how do we know? How can we trace it? UNC Greensboro well, they've been doing this a year. They just told you how you could trace it. I need my check, dog.
You need to check right away, right?
Yeah, I need my check, man. I'm going to start getting ethnic on y'all. And you don't want that to happen. Then you'll be calling me a thug and a gangster and all that. But that's what you do when you mess with another man's money. So I think this is a great, great idea. I really do.
Okay. I'm down with you, Dave. If you down with reparation, I'm down with reparation. Pick up my check when you pick up yours.
Can I cash it?
Nah, don't cash my check. Just bring it to
So
me.
wait a minute. Can I get a 20? Are we being negative? And we're barely 15 minutes into the show.
No, why not? I'm down with reps.
Okay.
I'm down with reparations. What you want me to do, man?
I'll just say it. I might need you to do a handstand.
Oh, man. That's going to be tough.
855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with us. Let's talk a little bit about this march yesterday that was at Central.
You really want to do that?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I mean, what are your thoughts?
No, what are your thoughts? You brought it up.
Wait a
What are
minute.
your thoughts?
What?
Let's
You don't
hear
want to
your
talk
thoughts.
about it?
I'm gonna listen to you. What do you guys? What you got? Come on, lay it on me.
Well,
I don't think I'm gonna say anything any different than you.
I've said over and over again, and what I'm about to say is nothing new. And I'm not trying to offend anybody. Everybody has their crosses to bear, or their shields to carry, or their lances to throw.
Really, Dave? Really?
What?
Come on, man.
I
Get to it. Get to it,
I
man.
just
Quit trying to sugarcoat. Get to it, dog.
But for me,
For you.
and this is just for me, okay?
Okay, just for you.
Number one, you're probably not going to see me at many marches and rallies,
Okay.
especially when it comes to marching and walking, because I have a back problem.
Oh, okay. That's your excuse
Okay?
right there.
No, that's not an excuse. I'm just simply
Your
saying.
reasons for not going to physical.
No, that
your
I'm just. I said
You're
many.
not healthy.
I said many. I didn't say. Okay, so you're not going to see me in many of those,
Okay.
but that's not an excuse for me.
I'm gonna cry today.
I'm just-
Okay,
You stop it.
go ahead.
I can barely stand 30 minutes.
Okay.
At this point. Okay.
Okay.
What you don't know is last week I was informed that I'm probably going to need some more surgery.
Okay.
So not to play on your sympathy,
Exactly, you're playing up. I said,
but I'm just
go
saying.
ahead, go
All
ahead.
right. But the most important thing to me at this point in my life, as it relates to supporting a cause, is I need to see some results. I need to see some plans of action. Okay? That's just me. All right? And I need some I want to see some plans of action that are really going to make a difference. And that means you're going to have to step on some toes. And I don't know that today's leaders, whatever they're leading, it doesn't matter. But I don't know if today's leaders are really ready to step on anybody's toes.
Okay.
You understand what I'm
I understand
saying?
what you're saying, yeah.
Because I understand you have to negotiate, but you have to negotiate from strength,
I agree with
not
that.
from a point of weakness.
I agree
Okay?
with that. I agree with that.
And what are your strengths? Well, in this community, y'all don't know. Okay? If you are going to have a legitimate march and you had strength, when you call that march, there ought to be a minimum of 500 people there.
If not more.
If not, I said minimum.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. You did say that.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That says strength. All right? Now, I'm not trying to crap on anybody's movement, because certainly I support what you guys are trying to do as far as get the school system back. But I'm going to be honest with you. I just don't think this is going to, number one, I don't think they're going to get it back the way you hope. And then number two, the governor told y'all to kiss his ass 5 years ago. Y'all hadn't got that yet. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the old girlfriend that you have, and you done told her you're done, and she keep coming back. She keep knocking on your door, okay? And you say, look, baby, look, we had a great time together, but it's over. She keep coming back. The next thing is you're going to have to get rowdy with her, or you're going to have to call the police and get a restraining order. You get what I'm saying? So in order for that girlfriend,
My neck hurt. I can't go to the rag.
in order for that girlfriend to really get the message, you got to do something drastic.
Okay.
Now, whatever that is, as it relates to the schools, and I'll expand it to this city.
Okay.
Until black folks are ready to do something drastic, and I'm not saying violent, I'm saying drastic. Until black folks are ready to do something drastic about the city board, the police department, and now the school system, they're going to keep tinkling in your face and telling you it's raining.
Okay. Are you done?
So
Oh.
let me just finish up
Okay.
here.
No, go ahead. Take your time.
So
Preach, brother.
right now, those of you out there who you say you are a leader, invite me to a planning session where we're going to do this, this, and this. And you have to understand that in any movement, and your followers must understand that in any movement, it ain't going to happen overnight. Rome was not built in a day. So you're gonna have to be ready for the long haul. And if you're not ready for the long haul, then you have not planned properly. And
Okay.
does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay.
Well, this is all I'm going to say, and I'm not going to be long-winded like my co-host here.
What you trying to say? I'm talking too much.
No, never that.
Never that.
Never that. So, I just believe that there's a different way you go about. If you're going to advocate on behalf of folk, then you have to identify the best way to come out with a positive result, right? Mm-hmm. And so for me, and I just feel that everything works this way, and it's not just my philosophy. I believe this is what you do. So had I been involved in this process, I would have started having conversations before I started having public press announcements. Because I think what the mayor said yesterday was point on. He just said, "Hey, I don't know enough yet, but I'm still advocating with the governor." Makes perfect sense, because you don't want to come out and lay all that stuff out in the press, and you don't want to have a conversation through the press. I believe it's important that you have conversation with the people who are in positions of power, so that you can become a part of the decision-making process, right? Mm-hmm. What we find now is, because of the strategy they took, they are on the outside looking in. And if you want,
Well, they were going to be that way anyway. So, but I understand what you're saying.
I don't think so. I think had they I think had they had a different approach, they would have been at the table to some degree, whether they took their advice or not. But at least you would have been at the table.
So what good does being at the table if they don't take your advice?
Well, hopefully, if you're at the table,
Ford NGL.
hopefully, if you're at the table, there are some people who at that table who will agree with you and help you get your point over.
So based on what we know about the people that were at that table, I would assume that the governor appointed school board members.
Well, that's why I say this thing was done ass backwards, right? So my first meeting would have been with Mike Ford. Mm-hmm. I want to feel him out, see where he is, and can he be my ally, right? Okay, so after I talked to him, I realized maybe he's not going to be my ally.
But see, we have a unique perspective now.
I sit down with the LREA. I sit down with LREA and I say, hey, tell me what you guys are willing to do with us by way of, negotiating with the governor, right? Can we get some teachers together and have a sit-down meeting with the governor, talk about the challenges in the district, see if he can fix those, right? Okay, but you got to remember, I got to work my way through this process first. I can't go from the bottom and I'm just going to talk to the governor. I can't do that.
So you're saying what I just said is that you got to plan this.
Yeah, you got to plan it.
There was no planning.
But you also have to make sure that you're including everybody along the way. Because this is the thing that I firmly believe. By the time they stick a camera in my face, I got a quote from everybody. I got a quote from the governor. I got a quote from the superintendent. I got a quote from everybody because I done had conversations with everybody about this. I'm having conversations because you don't fix things, in my opinion, you don't fix things by going to the media first.
Okay, so
first you back channel.
So I understand what you're saying, but I firmly believe in this case, there was nothing to fix. This has been in the works for the Republicans for 25 years via ALEC. Their goal, number one, is to disrupt and destroy unions across the country, including the teachers union, because the teachers union is the largest.
That's too broad. Right?
It may be broad, but this is what we don't think about when we're dealing with them.
But my point
is that they make it broad. They have attacked the state houses across this country.
You're giving them an excuse to do the nonsense that they did.
No, that's not what I'm doing.
You can't jump.
That's not what I'm doing.
Because technically they jump steps.
But see, I'm looking at it. See, what you're doing, Robert, which is fine. You're Monday morning quarterbacking what they should have done.
Yes, exactly.
Okay?
That's what we get paid
that's
to do
fine.
that. That's what we get paid to do that.
But what I'm saying is, at this point, the reason I'm not doing rallies anymore is because there needs to be a different tactic now. Okay? What is that tactic?
But your rally's pointless. If all this has happened,
I agree with that.
Along the way, then your rally is pointless.
Did you look? I gave a wonderful soliloquy about 4 minutes, and you didn't hear a damn word I said.
I heard all of it, and I was thoroughly impressed, and I can't believe how impressed I was by the soliloquy.
Oh, gee, thank you. Spell soliloquy.
Okay, you ready?
Don't try.
You ready?
But my point is this, and I agree with what you're saying. But at this point, that's water under the bridge.
Okay.
I'm trying to get people to start thinking forward. Okay.
What is it to think forward about? In your opinion, what is it to think?
I'm just saying, that's what leaders, these groups need to sit down and talk amongst one another. Okay, what are our next steps now? Because if you're not paying attention, this ain't going back. In fact, I think I posted either yesterday afternoon, the charter school industry, guess what they did?
What?
They applauded the new setup for the school district.
Yeah,
okay? Because it falls right into their hands. So what I'm asking now is, where are your planning sessions to try to continue this battle? If the battle is not over, what are you doing? Where are your planning sessions? How will you affect it? Because if you have nothing, look, at least once a week, something ought to be happening as it relates to these schools.
If you're not having conversations, you ain't doing shit. I mean, you ain't doing nothing.
Look,
everything you're doing is.
I don't have to talk to you.
You gotta have.
I'm governor. At this point, I ain't got to talk to you.
Well, I get that.
And that's
that's
what he said when he had that press conference Monday.
But my
He
point
said,
to you,
Friday.
my
He said,
point to
"Hey,
you-
y'all ain't invited."
these conversations should have already been in the works.
We agree with that. I'm simply saying, what's next? What's next? That's what they've got to start thinking about. They're not in the works. The governor proved to you that, hey, I'm not gonna even let senators in this press conference. I don't give a damn who y'all are. Okay? So at this point, when you have a party that is incalcitrant, who doesn't want to talk, which is what this governor has proven that he is my way and the hell with y'all, you got to start thinking outside now. Okay? And I'm not saying outside marching. Okay?
I agree with you. But
That's what I'm saying, because you got to figure out a way to bring him back to the table. Because right now he can tell you, I don't need y'all. He's proven that.
yeah.
So where are the planning sessions where you all are thinking outside to figure out what can you do? And there are some things you can do. You just got to have some guts. But where are those sessions where you're planning and saying, hey, this is what we're going to drop on the governor this week. This is what we're going to drop on the governor next week. And this is what we're going to drop on him the week after that.
So you think if they have enough rallies, he'll finally come?
I didn't say rallies. I didn't say rallies, because rallies are not going to change it unless those rallies are garnering 500 to 1,000 people. Those rallies don't mean crap to him. That's what I'm so a rally ain't going to work. You got to think a little more outside. I'm just saying. 855-525-5683 is the number. I think we got a caller. Hey, caller, you're on the air. What's your name and what do you want to talk about? Okay, go ahead.
Why is the black community so attached to the Little Rock School District when you're saying that they're options, charter schools, homeschooling, they're options? Why is it that the Little Rock School District is the only option going forward? That's all I'm saying.
Good question. Let me just tell you where my stance is on this. I firmly believe that the country, as it relates to public schools across the country, do not want to educate black children. My argument has been for at least 10 years now is that black people need to open their own schools. When the charter school thing took off, I said, why aren't black people opening their own charter schools? Because this is a horse that's out the barn, and he's been galloping across the plains for the last 10 years. That horse ain't coming back to the barn. He's free. He being charter schools. So what black people, in my opinion, ought to be doing at this point is taking their money, making their own schools, and educating their own children. That's how I feel about that. Your thoughts, Robert?
Black folk can't fix their own damn neighborhoods. How they go?
See, why you gotta hate?
I love my people.
Why you gotta hate?
I love my people, but the truth is the truth. Black people can't even fix their own neighborhoods. How they gonna open up a school? Seriously. Black folks don't even buy it. They don't even own their own candidates. How they gonna buy a school? They don't even like black folks.
Black people don't know what they're doing there.
No, that's not what he's saying.
No, I'm not saying that. No.
Look, let me tell you something. Black women now are the most degreed people in America. There are plenty black people got plenty of degrees. That ain't look. Here's the problem: is that everything that we talk about on this show, and I'm assuming that this is your first time. Are you a first time listener, by the way? First time, obviously, a first time caller. Everything we talk about on this show has relation, as far as I'm concerned, as it relates to self-empowerment, okay? But Robert makes an excellent point. I know he was being facetious, but it's facetiously sad that he would have to say that, because unfortunately he's right. And the problem what I try to do, and it ticks some people off, is that I try to make you think differently. I want you to believe that you can educate your children. I want you to believe that you can go and shop at black businesses. I want you to believe that you can hire your black children to keep them out of prison. But until black people have a different mindset, a change of mentality, this is going to continue, unfortunately.
So what he's basically saying, and I'm not saying I disagree or agree, but what he's basically saying is that the professional class has no use to the normal, everyday black person.
No, because they can afford to send their kids to private school. You got teachers who send their kids to you got public school teachers who send their kids to charter schools.
I'm talking about the ones that would have to separate from where they are now to go ahead and take their expertise, their knowledge, that professional class, and move it on over to solely help us.
No, I don't see that ever happening in regard to education for black kids. I don't see that happening in Arkansas or in Little Rock in particular.
Well, it's not happening anywhere around the country for that matter, and that's why I say there has to be a total mind shift. And I'm going to tell you, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that mind shift is not going to occur in our generation. Our generation is set. We've got more days behind us than we do ahead of us. So most of them are going to say, I ain't going to mess up my good job, my retirement for that mess. Unfortunately, not realizing that the reason that they got that good job and that retirement was because people marched before them so they could get that damn good job and retirement. So what it's going to require is young people. It's going to require the young people to say, hey, we have had enough of poor schools, poor economic development in our communities. We are going to change this. And it takes a complete mind shift to do that. Now, the question is, are you ready for that mind shift? Because apparently we're not yet. Because they killing us, they imprisoning us, they doing everything they can to us, and we still don't get it. That's why I said yesterday that Amber Geiger's trial is a seminal moment, in my opinion.
It's not seminal. I wish you quit saying that.
Would you stop telling me why? I ain't gonna stop saying it is.
All the black men that have been killed, black men and women, and black folks ain't did nothing. We ain't did one thing.
I agree. Who do you mean professional leadership?
I think he's talking about W.B. Du Bois' talented 10. But you don't own your politicians. Why would you look up to them? We don't own them. We don't own them. We don't own them. They're owned by other people. They're not owned by us.
What other people?
We don't fund their campaign.
What other people?
They're funded by. They're owned by the business community.
What other people?
Well, you don't know who the other people are?
Well, I wouldn't say uproot because there's a lot of knowledge that can be gained from a lot of. Baltimore, LA. Well, to some extent, I hear what you're saying, but let's think about it from this perspective. Everybody wasn't for civil rights. A lot of those folks didn't want Dr. King out there stirring up trouble with the white man. So you got to understand that a lot of black folks, they're content to have what they have and not worry about anything else.
They don't meet the same challenges as some of us. So therefore, the issue doesn't exist to them. Like I said, back in the 50s, we all had to drink at the same water. We had to drink at the same water fountain, whether you was a doctor or you was a janitor. Well, now that don't happen. If I got the money, I can go to the white culture club. If I got the money, I can be a part of all these white organizations if I have the revenue, right? Well, see, those people, I think, this is my opinion, I don't think those people consider themselves to be black like us. Because they're the ones who are paid to tell us that everything is good. They're the ones that are paid to tell us all these things. And unfortunately, we go with it because we say, hey, okay, so you're the savior, you're the black savior. And they lift them up as black saviors. We don't ever tear them down because, you know, we've always...
Why not just go back? Why not uproot them?
Well, how you going to uproot them?
Turn a blind eye to them.
Well, you can turn them... But see, this is the bad thing, right? So you and I, because we are knowledgeable and we are constantly getting this information from different places, right? We're constantly getting our information from different places. We understand who these people are, right? But unfortunately, the larger black community does not, because the one thing they can get access to is money to get a message out that resonates with people, but they don't actually do anything once they get to where they're going. The money thing is what kills us. Say it again.
You're gonna have to have a voice, make it known.
Well, we do on this show, but again, it ain't like we got every black person in Little Rock listening to us. You with me?
So spread the word.
Without a doubt.
Hey, caller, we got to let you go. Good calls and good comments, man. We appreciate you calling. Keep listening. And by the way, definitely spread the word, man. I mean, it sounds like a young brother who's frustrated, and I can understand that. I mean, because when you talk to young people, they are frustrated. But see, they don't understand. This is why I think history is so important, is to ask me, someone who's 60 years old, who has been in the struggle to get out and do the boots on the ground type things that need to be done for this movement. Most 60-year-olds can't do that. They're not going to do it. Okay? But if you look at history, go and look at the people who were fighting in the 60s. Those were 16. Look, I read a black fact the other day that some of the freedom riders were as young as 11 years old. 11 years old. So what I'm saying to you, what I'm trying to help young people to do is empower yourself. You don't need to deal with the leaders today. Here's what you say. This is what we need. This is what we want, and this is what's going to be done. And if it's not going to be done, then you have to mobilize yourselves economically and through power and together and put a plan down to change the system. That's what I'm saying.
I like it. I love your naivete.
There you go, calling me the N-word again. Will you stop it?
I do. I just have to admit, I love your naivete. I love it, and I think it's good. I think in some circles that'll really get you something with $5 with $5.72. That'll get you a Starbucks coffee.
Is that how much it costs?
Yeah, that's how much.
I don't drink that. I don't coffee.
You know, we had these conversations, and the brother brought up some excellent points. Then why don't we separate ourselves? But again, unfortunately, here we are. We're in this era where information is king, but folks aren't trying to take heed of the information. I mean,
say that again, because that's a profound statement. You don't make many profound statements, but that was one,
I make
Robert.
A profound statement every day.
That was one right there. Say that again. Listen.
But no, I mean seriously, I want to give you a great example of what I mean. So you have Director Richardson and Director Hendricks down there busting their head to the white meat, right? Trying to put forth issues or ordinances that would benefit the black community. And every Tuesday night almost, they are beating them over the head with clubs, and nobody's going down there saying, why are you not supporting them? Mm-hmm. Why are you not supporting the things that they're putting forth? Again, those are the only two candidates that I will say this. We have some other candidates on the state level. Those are the only two candidates who are not bought and paid for. Mm-hmm. Every year.
Which one are bought and paid for?
All the rest of them.
Who like who?
Doris Wright. You know Doris Wright bought and paid for.
Okay.
Doris Wright bought and paid for, man.
Don't act like you're scared to call a name or something.
Oh, there you go. Doris Wright bought and paid for. Everybody knows that. I mean, she's the only person she votes against even the ordinances that Richardson and Hendricks puts up. She votes against those.
Yep.
Only time she's voted with them. The only time. The first time they put up the residency ordinance, you know what she did? She voted against it the very first time. The second time, you know what she did? She voted against it. The third time, you know what she did? She voted for it. She voted against it twice and voted for it once. I mean, those are the things I'm talking about. She bought and paid for it. But yet and still, she gets elected every year without fail. And nobody has a conversation about that. These are the things that are important. These are the things that are important in my opinion. But again, she can get money from the business community, and she can put out a message that makes sense for them because they don't know, they're not looking at her record and how she votes on things that are important to the black community, the very community she represents. They're not looking at how she votes on things like that. So here we go. She gets reelected. So everybody says, well, she built that big old beautiful center out there. Well, they was gonna build that center regardless.
Yes, they were.
She didn't do anything to get the center built. They were gonna build that center regardless. So if anybody knows anything about the sales tax, every director got something in particular from the sales tax. Every last one, right? So it wasn't like she did something special. No, it wasn't special. It was going to be built whether she was the sitting director or not. But everybody wants to say that it was her vision that brought it to fruition.
So isn't it the fault of the people that are in her district or any other
It's
district?
the fault of all of us, not just her.
But
not just people in her
wait a
district.
minute. Before you cut my neck off, isn't it the fault of the people that are in her district? Because those are the only people that can vote for her.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That they are not, again, what we've got to become is informed. You said something about knowledge. All of this knowledge out here for us to make change, and we don't utilize it.
No.
That's our damn fault, folks. You can't blame, look, if you're going to let me manipulate you, I'm going to manipulate your ass.
Yeah, well,
Okay?
I'm gonna put it this way to you, Dave. I learned something being an advocate. The thing I learned is that the more information you have,
You still
when
an
you walk
advocate?
into a room. When I was,
You said being an advocate.
when I was.
See,
advocate. I'm no longer
it's
an
still in
advocate.
there.
No, I'm
It's
done.
still
I'm
in
done.
you,
I'm
Clark.
done. I'm done.
It's still in you, Clark
No,
Kent.
no.
Come
No.
back to us,
No,
Spidey.
No, not coming
Come back.
I don't have my.
It's still-
I don't have the SN on my chest anymore.
It's still in you.
I don't have the SN on my chest anymore.
See,
I got the GP on my chest
see,
now. I went from super Negro to get paid. I got the GP on my chest now.
see,
I'm done.
It's still in you.
I'm done. Somebody
You
else will come up. Somebody else will step up to the
you
forefront.
still got your cape in the closet.
I have no cape, brother. I'm capeless. I'm capeless up in this piece. But
Gosh.
again, we have allowed people to represent us who don't represent us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people say, "Well, he my homeboy. Me and him went to school together. I know he down."
Really?
How you know? I tell people right now, if you wanna find out what somebody's gonna do when they get elected, look at what they did before they got elected. If they ain't did nothing before they got elected, they ain't finna do nothing now that they elected. So don't be sitting up there expecting your boy to save the world, because if your boy ain't been trying to save the world before, he sure ain't gonna save it now. Because the one thing he about now is keeping that job. He about keeping that position. That's it. I told everybody, and I meant that, I'm going into this position looking to lose my position. I want to get stuff done, right? So people are not getting that. It's about us buying our candidates back first and foremost. And by buying them back, I mean contributing to their campaigns. If somebody gets money from outside your neighborhood, I wouldn't even vote for them. I tell them, before I can vote for you, I need to look and see who gave you money. If somebody outside the community gave you money, I'm not voting for you. Because again, I want somebody who's going to work for me. And I want somebody who is beholden to me because I gave him money. I want you to be beholden to me. Now, am I asking you to do special favors for me? No. What I'm saying is that when you get in there, I want you to work for the best issues of our community. And like I said, you got senators of the people I could point a finger at and say, okay, these people, and honestly, they get money from other places,
Yes,
right?
they do.
They get money from other places, but for whatever reason, when there are issues that are important to the black community, they step up, they speak out. Now, Director Richardson, Director Hendricks, Director Senator Elliott, Senator Chesterfield. I'm trying to think who else in Little Rock does that. Well, I'm trying to think because I'm missing. Well, J.P. Donna Massey does it. I guess to some degree, depending on what it is, J.P. Judy Green, depending on what it is. But that's pretty much it. And if you look around,
So wait a minute, let me just stop you right there.
okay,
So all the other Black Caucus members are selling out their community.
I won't say they're selling them out, but I will say that they're not speaking up.
So
Well, I mean,
So-
ask yourself. Hold on. I'm just going to do it this way. So they've been talking about this school district thing. You haven't heard State Representative Fred Love. You haven't heard. I think Charles Blake was at the meeting, the first meeting they had. He was at the first meeting. I remember seeing him there. We had a conversation, and I think he even spoke. John Walker, of course, you know John Walker's thing. He does his thing. I should have included him in the other group. Who else? John Walker. Charles Blake, John Walker, Fred Love. We got one I'm missing. Charles Blake is gone, so we got Denise Enid yet, and the jury's still out on her. We'll see what she does. But again, a lot of
did you
people,
see where her campaign?
I see where her
signs were?
money came from. I see where her money came from too, and that says a lot. That says a lot. I'm trying to think.
I don't think I saw one of her signs south of 630. Well, in the black neighborhoods.
I didn't either.
And I do a lot of driving in this city, as you know.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I don't think I saw one of her signs in black neighborhoods.
I didn't. But
I saw a lot down here in the Qualpah Quarter area.
Well, but again, that tells you. I think I don't know. I don't know enough yet about Denise to say whether she's going to be positive or not. I don't know enough about her. But again, living and being true to my adage, what did they do before they got elected? Then you take a look and see what she did before she got elected. I heard some radio spots that she said that she's been on the front lines of several issues. Me being on the front lines of several issues. I haven't seen her there, but that doesn't mean that she wasn't. But I didn't see her there. Everybody considers issues of our community to be different. Everybody has a different take on what the important issues are in our community. Again, not saying it's right or wrong, just saying that is the way it works. So here we are now, we're having this conversation about the school, and everybody wants to separate. And I'm down with separation. I'm definitely down with segregation. But I'm not down with segregation if you ain't giving me my money. Don't segregate me and not give me my money. I would love for people south of 630 to completely disconnect from Little Rock. Just create our own neighborhood, create our own little city within Little Rock. I would love to see that. I would love it. Tell Little Rock School District, all of them, look, y'all go on about y'all business. We're going to do this. We're going to figure it out on our own. Hell, we ain't getting nothing from y'all no way now, so whatever. Y'all going to do y'all thing, we'll do our thing. We'll see y'all later. Don't come over here. We don't even want y'all police over here. We're going to even get our own police force. We don't want nothing y'all got. Y'all keep all that to yourselves. I don't see why we can't do that. I don't see why we can't.
Well, was it Kamak Village did it?
Kamak Village did it. Yeah, I don't see why we can't.
Why can't we call it Black Haven? I don't know. It makes it, it's an interesting conversation, but again, all of those thoughts where you are, where I am, there's not enough people on that thought process to move that forward. Because see, like I said, if we would do anything near that, you got to plan this.
I don't disagree.
You got to sit down, because if you say that a person that is elected in office is your leader, and you never see that leader in your neighborhood, that ain't your leader, folks. If you never see that person rah-rahing about issues that affect you personally, that's not your leader. And until you all begin to recognize leadership, you're going to continue to get drug across the coals, not by white folks, but by your own black folks.
Well,
And I'm just being real with you.
I'm just going to say this to you. I'm very cynical when it comes to our folks and us doing anything together collectively, and let me share with you why. Because you have too many of our folks who've been brainwashed by the Joan Adcocks of the world. They believe that Joan Adcock, hung the moon, and she hangs the moon at night, and she comes out in the morning and puts the sun up. I can't deal with folks like that, because she votes against your best interest, and then you come down there and support her. It's almost like you saying, "Thank you very much, Joan. We Negroes don't need nothing. Thank you for that." But that's my point. Again, black folk can't even fix their own neighborhoods. They ain't even trying to fix their own neighborhoods. They ain't. Black folk, this is what I love. This is what I love more than anything. So if you go to any of these neighborhood meetings, go to any neighborhood meeting, pick you one, go to it. What you'll hear, we got to figure out a way to get rid of these folk. Them your folk.
Mm-hmm.
But they want to get rid of them. Hey, it is what it is. I ain't knocking them. I don't blame them. I want a safe community too. But it ain't them folks' fault that they doing what they doing. Blame the people. Address it. I shouldn't say blame. Address it to the people who it needs to be addressed to. Address it to the school district and ask the school district, hey, why are y'all still allowing these charter schools when kids who go to college, the percentage of kids who take remedial classes is higher for charter school students than it is for traditional school students? Why are we allowing this to happen? Why do we keep allowing this to happen? Why are we allowing these charter schools to function when charter schools, they don't have to have a license. They don't have to have a license to teach our kids, but public schools do. Why are we allowing this to happen? That's my point. How can you sit back and say, well, charter schools are cool. Charter schools are great. They're doing a wonderful job. How can you say that?
When they're really not.
When they're really not.
But see, here's the problem, is that they've been able to utilize the media to perpetuate their lie, and those opposed have not. That's what I'm saying about organization.
No, it's about money. The Waldens support that. The Waldens support charter schools. But Waldens have the money to
perpetuate the lie.
To perpetuate the lie.
That's what I'm saying.
We don't have the money to
exactly.
To break the lie down.
So how do you combat that? And the thing about it is, it's so much easier today than it was decades ago because you have social media. You can, how many of your friends out there that you're listening that knows how to do Photoshop? How many of y'all know how to do videos? All of you all do, because all of y'all done posted on Facebook Live at one point, have done a video. So don't say you don't know how. You can combat that with enough knowledge of people that are in grassroots. But before you can even do that, you got to get that crew together. You got to sit down and say, hey, this is our plan of action going forward. And we're going to do this on this day. Brother Coleman, he going to make the flyers, and we're going to disseminate one flyer a day. And we're going to flood social media. There are ways you can do that. But again, you will never know how to do it if you never sit your asses down and make a plan. That's all I'm saying. Because your previous plan didn't work. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see, when they wanted to invade the Battle of Troy, they done ran up and they were getting their tails kicked trying to get in that gate. Then someone thought of an ingenious idea. Hey, let's give the queen a gift. And in that gift, we're going to stock our most vicious warriors. And when they go to sleep, we're going to slaughter them. They had a plan. Black people don't have a plan. We go to these wonderful speeches and these wonderful events where all these people in these symposiums, and they get up on stage and they wax poetically, and you come out feeling good, and you never ask, what about the damn plan? You know, this thing about Elaine. Everybody talking about, hey, they're having a memorial. That's going to be great. You know what I asked? What about the bodies?
Dave,
where are they?
Dave, I hear you getting frustrated, but I'm going to ask you one question. I'm going to be done with this whole thing. You ready for my one question? Who owns your history?
Exactly.
Who owns your history? What is it, the Masonic Templars?
Yes.
Who owns your history? You can't even put a Black Lives Matter t-shirt in the Masonic Templars because you don't own your own damn history. That's Lil Rock. If you don't want to own your history, you don't care about nothing else.
That's the point.
You don't care about nothing else. I'm done with that. Come on, man.
Excellent point.
Come on, man.
Excellent point. And therein lies the problem. Until we get a clue, they're going to continue to take a clue.
Well, we've already sent the messages we don't care. We've sent the message to them. And by we, I mean us. And even though people are going to get mad about this, but as the Black community, we've sent a message that we'll take anything you put out. We'll take anything you do to us, because not only have we not fought back, and we have these isolated pockets of people who are fighting the good fight, But unfortunately, they're fighting in silos.
Yep.
Because nobody can trust anybody because nobody wants to be sold out. I get that. I've seen people get sold out all too often. It happens. Because there are people out there who sell us out every day. And they sell us out and they smile at us and then they sit around us talking to us and telling us how terrible the white man is. But guess what? The next chance they get, they're going to sell us out to them. They're going to do it.
We got to take the top of the hour break. Caller, we'll be with you in just a moment. You're listening to Black Focus Radio, our issues, our solutions, our voices on joynetradio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Saints of Raw, get ready from Sumter, South Carolina. It's Minister Lee Burgess and
Hey, caller. Hello. Yes. Hey, Cliff. Hey, hang on a minute. We'll be with you in a moment, okay?
Yes, Minister Lee Burgess and Resurrection. This new project is available on all.
We're trying to see if the numbers increase.
Yours now and catch up
12
to what
now.
everybody's been talking about. Minister Lee Burgess and Resurrection. Call now 803-847-6227. That's 803-847-6227. And enjoy Minister Lee Burgess and Resurrection. Hey, lock this number in. 501-406-7134. That's 501-406-7134.
We had Baltimore, Lit Tips, Pennsylvania.
I'm talking great American chicken wings with all of the flavors, like spicy cake.
What's the Lit Pennsylvania?
Lit Tips. That's a mouthful.
Spell it for me.
Lititz.
Oh, you want me to keep going? Yeah, country fried, mild barbecue, honey mustard, taco dip. Oh, I'm telling you, it's going down. Just call the number 501-406-7134. That's 501-406-7134. It's the Great American Wings, and I'm telling you, they are.
What's it near?
And delivered right to your door. Call that number and get in touch today. As a matter of fact, you can drop by. We're located at 6323 Carlton Road in Little Rock. That's Great American Wings.
Hi, I'm attorney Theodore Thompson from the Thompson Law Firm, and I want to help with your legal matters. Whether it's criminal defense, bankruptcy, personal injury, or family law, I want to help you. I can be reached at 501-503-5095. Don't make sure you do this alone. You need an attorney who's primary business is providing you. Our office address is 415 North McKinley, Suite 710 in Little Rock. I'm attorney Theodore Thompson, and I want to provide you with the best legal representation.
Business owners, spread the word about your goods and services during the Little Rock Central Tigers 2019 football season. This is a great opportunity to inform the largest alumni base in the state of Arkansas about your great products. We'll professionally produce your ads or submit your own. You must act quick as a cat because spots are limited. Contact David W. Coleman at 615-554-0568 to support the Tigers. Proceeds to benefit the Little Rock Central High Tigers Athletic Fund.
You got it. He's Little Rock's answer to your aggravation. Joy Network.
The views and opinions expressed today on Black Focus Radio are not the views and opinions of the station, its management, or its advertisers. Now, let's get ready to focus on our issues, our solutions, using our voices on Black Focus Radio.
Welcome to Black Focus, the show designed with our community in mind, where we focus on our issues, developing our solutions, using our voices. Central Arkansas, surrounding areas, and the nation. Get ready. Black Focus starts right now. Phone lines open at 855-525-5683. So here's your host, David W. Coleman and Robert Webb.
All right, welcome back to the show, the second hour of the show, Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with us. If you want to talk on the show, As you can see, we've had a couple of callers today, so we really appreciate that. Just quickly before we go back to the phones, I want to give a shout out to the United States Olympic and Paraplegic Committee for finally admitting that they were wrong.
When did they admit they were wrong, Dad?
John Carlos and Tommy Smith,
Oh, okay. They inducted him into the Hall of Fame.
they've been inducted to the Olympic Hall of Fame.
I dig it. I so dig
And
it.
basically, Carlos says it sends the message that maybe we had to go back in time to make some conscious decisions about whether we were wrong or right. They've come to the conclusion that, hey man, we were wrong. We were off base in terms of humanity relative to human rights, to the human rights era. Of course, John Carlos and Tommy Smith both stood their ground as it related to the 1968 Mexico Olympics. In fact, I remember watching that live and crying. I was only 7 years old, but even at that age, and this is, and this is why I'm bringing. At that age, I understood what they were doing.
You understood it then?
I understood it because it was in our house.
Well, the first time I saw it, Dave, I wasn't born in '67. However, when I saw it when I was, probably 7 or 8, I did not completely understand what it meant. So that was pretty cool for you to be 7 and understand the
I had a brother was one of the first blacks to go to Hall High. Okay, and then my uncle Vassy was one of the first black sheriffs here in Little Rock. For a long time. And we talked about this at the family table. We talked about civil rights and the struggle. And I remember when Dr. King was killed, where I was sitting on my mom's bed, and I can remember her words as plain as day today. How could they have killed a good man? And she started crying, I started crying. We were in the movement. And so as a young kid, I understood. I don't remember the Malcolm. I don't remember Malcolm.
Huh?
I don't remember it.
I'm taking your black card, Tim.
I'm just saying I heard about it, but the actual time that it was done,
I don't want to hear it.
I don't remember.
I'm taking your black card.
Okay, I mean, gosh, I remember a lot of stuff. I just don't remember that. But my point being is, and bringing that up, is that if we instill that black consciousness in our children, it will change. Like as I said earlier, it's not going to happen in our lifetime, folks. We've lost an entire generation. I get fascinated when people post pictures, older pictures of young black brothers from back in the day, and how they dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
And then you post pictures of young brothers today, and they got their pants falling off of them, brandishing weapons, trying to be cool. Or they post pictures of sisters from back in the day when they looking good, got on the baggies, the fros, and then they post sisters today, and they you can go to Walmart and hell, you don't have to go to a strip club anymore. You can go to Walmart and see anything and everything you want to see these days. It's sad. That's the lack of consciousness. That's a lost people, is that they don't understand their worth. The only way we're going to change this is somehow or another, we have to reinstill the self-worth in our people.
The poet Tupac had a great line in one of the songs. He said, they tell me it's the white man I should feel, but it's the black folks out here doing the killing out here.
That's what I'm saying.
But again...
But why are we doing that? Why can't black people just simply say, I'm not killing another brother?
Listen, man, I get tired of people doing this. If you're not going to talk about why it's happening.
I know why it's happening, but at some point we got to resist.
No,
it's like
no,
it's like a drug.
Hold on,
it's like alcohol, brother.
Hold on, Dad. This is the problem. We don't attack the entity by which that produces these young men.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
We would rather.
What entity is that, by the way?
We're not attacking our education system because our education system is failing kids, right?
Okay.
We're not attacking that. So what we do is we attack the parent. It's the parent's fault.
Okay.
Now, does parent have some culpability? Of course they do. But we're putting everything, Nobody else has any. Nobody else has anything. It's all on the parent. Every bit of it, every single bit of it, is all on the parent. Now, the reason I disagree with that is that I've dealt with many parents who have kids who have had problems in school. Those parents are very committed to their children. They are very committed to their children's success, right? Unfortunately, for whatever reason, they might not always, not all of them, but some of them, they're not always the most educated themselves, right? And so, going into a conference with a group of
Hey, Rhodesia, what happened on Empire last week? Girl, you should have saw Lucius.
Why you always interrupt me? I'm gonna interrupt you, though.
I'm sorry.
I give you a 5 minutes of fame.
I'm sorry.
No, seriously. When you start having conversations like this, the thing that bothers me is that we're always attacking each other. Now, I know that I'm super critical of black folks, and that I am. I am very critical of black folks.
Yes, you are. You don't like black people.
I love my peoples. I love my peoples to death. I'm unapologetic. I unapologetically love black folk. That don't make me hate white people. I just love black people who look like me. What's wrong with that? But my point is,
You ever dated a white woman?
who, me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, every black man needs to go.
Robert! Robert!
Yeah. So this is the thing, though. Here we go. This is the thing that's important. This is the thing that's important. We have to attack the entities that our kids interact with. We have yet to have conversations with the school district. I mean, a meaningful conversation that says, "Hey, we need you to figure out a better way to educate all kids." Okay. There's no such thing as a kid should fall between the cracks.
Let me ask you
that
a
shouldn't
question.
happen.
I agree with everything you just said. You're right. We have to attack the entity. But I watched a little bit of Game of Thrones the other day, just by accident. I've seen it, but there was one particular scene, and I forgot the young lady's name who ultimately ends up killing the Ice King. I'm sorry, I just spoiled it for you. But prior to her getting to that point, here's what, somewhere along her journey, she had lost her sight. And when you were talking, boy, this came to me, okay? She had lost her sight. And she was sitting on some stairs collecting coins. Another young lady walks up with 2 staffs, and she throws it at her. Okay, one of the staffs. And she challenges this young lady to get up and stop begging and fight for yourself. And when the young lady got the staff, she got up and she was swinging wildly. She never hit this young lady, but every time her opponent got close, she would whack her with a stick, hard, upside the head, in the legs, knock her down. The young lady kept getting back up, okay? My point in that analogy is this, that our community is blind to that entity, okay? So before we can fight the entity, and the story goes on, this young lady develops into a great warrior and ends up being the heroine of the entire series, okay? But the point is that she had to figure out who the damn enemy was. Someone had to teach her. Someone had to educate her. Our problem in our community is, that was a great analogy now that I think about it. Damn, Dave, you ought to be a motivation speaker. But anyway, the point I'm trying to say is that our community doesn't know who the enemy is. We can talk a good game. We can talk about the white man, and that's all we do is talk about him, but we don't know how he effectively thwarts our efforts to build our communities. That's where the education process comes in. It starts in infancy. That's what I'm saying, that if we're going to build a movement, we got to be talking about this in our living rooms. We got to be talking about it to our children. We got to be talking about all the things that we can to build a society. It's not going to be overnight. Somebody's not going to walk into our community and say, abracadabra, all y'all black folks rich. Even if they gave every one of y'all $20,000 in reparations right now, half of you Negroes will be broke in 6 months.
Dave, I got to read you this, Dave. You're getting a little criticism. I want you to address
Good.
It says, not true, not true. I can't read the rest of it. It says, not true. No, he's saying folks don't know. Man, please. So why do you think the people don't know?
So he's saying he's disagreeing that they don't. Look, let me tell you something. If they knew, do you actually think people want to live in squalor? Do you actually think people, mama want to be worried about her little Johnny getting shot because he's on the corner selling drugs, or her daughter is shaking her tail to make money? Do you actually think people want to live that way? No, they don't. But that's all they know.
Okay, I don't disagree with that. But honestly, so, you know, the great thing about going to the board meetings is you get to see a little bit of everybody come to the board meetings. And while I'm not criticizing their style, more so of a critique. So they're the guys that come down who are the sovereignists or whatever, you know what I'm talking about?
No. I don't do groups.
Well, it's like this sovereignty group.
I've got 13 personalities. I have a group within myself.
Stop it, man, stop it. It's like that. It's like it's a sovereignty group.
Y'all calm down back there.
But when they come down, or when some of these guys, I'm not saying this is the way the whole group carries themselves, but when some of them come down, they're just a little too over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they make very good points, but because they're so over the top, they're easily dismissed, right? And so I think I agree with what you're saying about you have to learn who the enemy is. I also had to train myself to think a certain way when I got into politics. And I didn't know that going in, right? I was really good at giving you the issues and why things were broken, but it was hard for me to give you a solution. And the reason it was hard for me to give you
What was that word again?
Solution.
Solution.
It was hard for me to give you a solution.
Spell that again.
It was hard for me to give you a
mean
solution.
SOLUTION?
It was hard for me to give you a solution because I didn't have enough information about the problems. Right?
There you go.
And so the more I educated myself about the resources and availability of services that the city provided, it gave me a better opportunity to offer more succinct and more practical solutions, right?
Succinct and practical.
Well, yeah.
You put those two words together.
I did.
He done
So-
grown up.
So what happens is what you learn is that a lot of people who come to those meetings, or a lot of people who are even elected officials, don't even know all the services that the city provides.
No, they don't.
They don't even know how much sales tax revenue they bring in. They don't know a lot of the information that I think will make them stronger when they come to board meetings.
Let's get Cliff in here. Hey, Cliff, how
What
you
up,
doing,
Cliff?
man? I've been trying to get you on, but Robert was talking, so I just let him go. So you can blame him. Yeah, bring a gun.
Yeah, bring some bullets with you.
Can't do our own thing. I think that the fact that there's less restrictions with charter schools could potentially bring some hope of actually having that in the future, being that there are so many people in our own community who are graduating from college at high rates, and having that employment disparity, if the right people make the right moves, I feel like there's enough workforce that could sustain a charter school in their own communities. It's just a matter of having the people who care enough to try and put that into place.
But Cliff, what Robert is saying, and I agree with him, is that see, black people haven't graduated mentally as a group yet to understand that.
Honestly, let me say this. Honestly, it's just like when I was sitting on the couch in 2000, 2001, 2003, right?
What were you doing on the couch?
I was just sitting there reading the paper, watching TV, thinking it's got to be a better way.
You didn't have a beer?
I had a bunch of beers.
Oh, there you go.
But I was thinking it's got to be a better way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why can't they figure these things out? They seem really simple to figure out. And what I learned when I got into that process is yeah, they're really simple to figure out. But unfortunately, the people that we have chosen to represent us have yet to take the time to get to know the intimate details of the policies of the organizations by which they represent us from.
Okay.
So you got a couple. You got Ken, you got Senator Elliott, Senator Chesterfield, who have immersed themselves and made themselves knowledgeable about the process, how it works, what they can do, what they can't do. They've done that, right? But the bad part is think about this. How can you have black folks who work for you, elected for you? It ain't one group of black folks. It ain't one group of black elected officials that are working together on anything, on any level, on any government, on any form of government, be it the state, be it the city level, be it the county level, be it the state level. There is not one of them that are. There's not. Maybe I say this because I don't know. I would like to think maybe Senator Elliott and Senator Chesterfield are working on something collectively, but everybody else, Director Hendricks, Director Richardson, Doris Wright, they ain't working on nothing collectively. They ain't working on nothing collectively that I know of. Now, Director Richardson and Director Hendricks, they work on things behind the scenes collectively, right? But as far as putting out an ordinance that they put out there that's collective, no. You got 5 people who serve as justice of the peace on a quorum court, right? You got 5 of them. They have yet to introduce one piece of legislation that they all co-signed on. Anytime there's something submitted, and you always got 1 or 2 black folk who ain't on it and who vote against it. How can you live in these very same damn neighborhoods and y'all not have a collective agenda? How does that happen? How does it happen?
Because they're voted into office by an ignorant electorate.
Yeah, and then people want to get mad.
That's the point. So and what you just said echoes what we've been talking about this entire show, is that we have got to re-educate our people. You know, I've always been perplexed about this desegregation thing.
I think it's more than just re-educating our folks. What we have to also do is I have to be willing to allow you to be who the hell you are and not try to tell you what you should think and why you should think it, right? Because what I find is people want to, once you get into this game, people who've been in here for a while want to tell you, well, that ain't the way you should do it. Let me tell you how you should do it. And sometimes it's true in some cases, but most times it's not. Because you're trying to tell me to do something that you don't even understand why I'm doing this.
And then the other thing is that if you've been doing that for so long and this is the results that we have, then maybe it is time to think a different route. But again, that's where young people come into play. That's where you all have to get involved in the process. Because if you're not involved in the process, it starts with educating yourselves. I mean, some of you young people are just great, and you know, this spoken word, y'all show up in droves. Just imagine if you all did that, and while you were at spoken word, you were spitting fire about participating in the process, registering to vote. Who we gonna vote for? Who is the person that we believe in? All of that stuff is part of the process. My thing about this thing with public schools, and I've always been perplexed, is that why do black people fight so hard to go to things that white people don't want us to be at?
I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's a mental thing, bro.
But not only that.
That's a mental thing.
Only that. Let me go back. But
if I call you and say, hey, Rob, I'm having a party, but don't bring your black ass over. You gonna come?
But let's go back, though. This is the thing, again, that continues to bother me. So, since I've been a young man, you had more.
That was a long time ago, bro. You can remember. You can remember. You're getting flashback.
Not that long.
Deja vu, man.
If you look at what a minority group consisted of in 1970, and you look at what a minority group consists of today, how have black folks allowed these folks to be included as minority groups? Those things were offered to us because of the hell that we endured, right? Now, if you want your class, you create your own damn class. But that class was created for us because of the hell we endured in this country.
Who are you talking about specifically?
Talking about everybody. Everybody who has been included. Gays, whoever else you want to add to it. Gays, women, whoever else. Ooh. That class was added for black. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Don't get them mad at
us. I don't care.
Oh.
The point is,
they think they black.
I don't care. The point is that we were enslaved, we were beaten, killed, hung, murdered, burned. We were burned for that. Black folks could not be taught to read. We were denied the basic principles that this country was set up for. We were denied those. That's why we were given that designation. These other folks who come in now and we just say, well, come on in, y'all. Close the door behind you.
We're all brothers and sisters.
That's the problem with black folks. You're too damn giving. They come in and take over. We
I
have
agree.
lost all that. We have lost
I
all
agree.
of it. And now the very people who benefit from our sacrifice, those people don't even want to associate with us.
No, they
but
don't.
yet we still cool with it. That's the reason why I say
They still spend money at their business.
that's the reason why I say black folk, we will not progress because we won't even fight for those things that we rightfully deserve. That's something we rightfully deserve. We rightfully earn that.
Well, Rob,
And anytime you got a brother like what's the gist of the piece name? Clarence Thomas, who says he don't believe in affirmative action, it should be a list of niggas we don't talk to. He should be on the top of it. We don't even acknowledge that Negro as a black man. But that's the problem. That's the problem with us. We give everybody a break. Everybody screw over us, so we just be like, that's cool. Screw over us. We good. I mean, charter schools when they came here, they had one specific job for them. Charter schools were here because they were going to find creative ways to educate urban kids. So
that's what they said.
That's what they said. But when
wasn't their
But when
intent.
they morphed into something else, nobody said, "Oh no, that's not what you're here for." It was like, "Well, that's great, y'all. Go ahead, enjoy yourselves."
But they didn't morph into something else. That's what they really were. They just lied to you all and said that's what they were for.
I don't know. I wasn't a part of that fight.
I'm telling you, that's what they did.
But my point is this: we are constantly allowing these things to happen, and we
Yeah.
ain't getting pissed off about them. Well, people are looking at us going, "Well, you can't be pissed now. You wasn't pissed before, right?" And black folk, and even W.B. Du Bois talks about the ties of 10. Where are they? They get
by the way,
theirs.
a specious argument, by the way, as it relates to the talented 10. But I was a Booker T. Washington fan. Cliff, you got anything else to add? I know Robert went on another soliloquy. That was like 29 minutes.
My bad, players. My
Lord.
bad.
We don't have a mentality of it right now. I think, the sooner we start, the sooner that we have the possibility of getting the next generations in line, or at least prepared mentally to start having that mindset, to start to have the things that we need for our own communities and to bring some sort of change. I think generally speaking, sociology, they teach you that it takes 1 to 2 generations from the time that you start trying to awaken people before it actually takes them to any type of physical, foreseeable change come into place.
A new mental consciousness. Did you hear me, Cliff? I agree with you. I mean, you got to realize we're just up from slavery, 50 years?
Oh, Jesus.
Barely a generation.
Oh, Jesus.
Think about it. Think about it.
Man.
Think about it from this perspective.
Oh, please.
How old is your mom, Robert?
69.
69. My mom is 92.
Okay.
Can you imagine the mental deprivation that she went through growing up as a young black woman in Arkansas?
I can only imagine.
In Warren, Arkansas.
I can only imagine.
Okay, so God bless her soul, but I will tell you that my mom has some values about black folks that we argue all the time about it. But I understand.
She grew up in a different era.
That's what I'm saying. So what we have to do, because there are still many of those people. That's why I laugh when white people say, well, my ancestors didn't participate in slavery or they didn't participate in Jim Crow. My mom lived that. Mm-hmm. That was just a generation ago.
If you were a young adult from 65 to 85, you completely, or I say 65 to 82, you completely grew up in a world that you thought was non-racist, non-racial, because black folks were getting jobs because of affirmative action. All these great things were happening, right? Mm-hmm. And people believed that they were living the American dream.
Right.
They believed it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, during that time, and so when I hear people say now, it's the parents' fault, the parents need to do more. And I look at them sometimes and go, damn, you thought the movement was over, so you sat down and you started watching TV. You didn't know that while you was sitting down watching TV, they was putting all these wheels in motion to take back the gains that you made. Bill Clinton took away more gains than black folk made than anybody else.
Yep.
But every time you open your damn eyes, every black was talking about, oh, I love Bill Clinton. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I love Clint. Clint wonderful. He the greatest. He the greatest of all. I'm like, really?
I wish I
You
could
have
see
no
this
idea
first.
about what he's done.
I know.
But everybody loves him, and everybody loves Hillary. Oh, Hillary's great. But this is what happens: you got a few black people that benefit from him being in office, and therefore, because those few black folk benefit, the larger black community is supposed to be grateful. Oh yeah, we ain't eating, but they eating. I'm gonna watch them eat, and I'm gonna smile because they is eating.
Y'all gonna eat now.
Yeah,
Go eat.
We don't eat. We don't eat. We just watch them eat.
That's all right.
And the bad thing is, the black folks who eating, they getting crumbs off the pie. They ain't getting a whole slice. Because if they was getting a whole slice, they could employ some of us. They ain't getting a whole slice. And that's the problem. We always willing to take a crumb. I want half the damn pie. I don't want no slice.
No, I want the bakery.
I want half the. No, I ain't gonna be greedy.
No, I am. I want the bakery. You owe me reparations.
You want the whole damn bakery. That's
You
why
damn
you
right.
That's why you ain't getting.
I want the whole damn bakery.
That's why you ain't getting nothing.
You know.
See.
You know, LaTanya reminded us that Bill Clinton is in the Arkansas Black Hall of Fame.
That's when I knew Negroes in Arkansas was totally.
I did too.
That's when I knew it
I did
wasn't
too.
never coming back.
When I first came back and I went down to the Mosaic Temple, and I was thinking, oh man, this is man, because you know I love museums, so everywhere I go, I'm looking at museums. When I heard about Mosaic Temple, when I came back, oh man, I got to go to this, and I was just excited. Went through the exhibit. There was stuff in there about Scipio A. Jones and the history of 9th Street, and some of the pictures that I remember 9th Street that took me back as a little kid when I walked up and down 9th Street. And then I go upstairs and I go into the old hall and the creaky floors, and it was just like it was from back in the day. And I'm like, oh man, this is what I'm talking about. Black power, black power. Then I go in the little area where they had a Black Hall of Fame, and I'm just going, man, I didn't know Joe Jackson was from Arkansas. Man, I didn't know he was from, oh man, I know. Hey man, what the hell Bill Clinton doing here?
Yeah. But in their defense, though, I will say this because I always try to be fair. As the second vice president of Arkansas Democratic Black Caucus, I realize that sometimes you induct people or you give awards to folks because you know that they'll bring people in, right? And so I remember when I was part of the Arkansas Democratic Black Caucus, we gave an award to French Hill. And we gave an award to him, or we invited him. I don't know if we gave him an award. I can't remember now. But
Well, wait a minute. Say that again.
Yeah.
What you just said.
I don't know if we gave him an award, but we did invite him to the show. But we did that thinking we could generate some revenue from it.
You sold out to the man for $1.
Well,
shame.
The Black Caucus
Ain't no excuse. Don't be trying to.
The Black Caucus.
Don't be trying to cover it up.
That's no excuse, but I'm saying.
30 pieces of silver, Cliff.
30 pieces of silver.
I am so ashamed.
Well, let me tell you.
I'm gonna have to go home and bathe that right after the show.
Let me tell y'all something. I need y'all to understand. I need y'all to hear me and understand me clearly. Yeah, I need y'all to understand me clearly. I've learned a lot of things. Being a part of the Arkansas Democratic Black Caucus. And the one thing I learned is...
You need to get the hell out of it.
Well, no, but...
Are you still in it?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so you got out of it. Come home to us, Robert. Come home.
What I learned is that the higher you climb in those political circles,
the more butts you got to kiss.
Well, not the more butts you got to kiss, but
the more butts you got to kiss.
That the issues of people becomes less of an issue because at that level you're more about raising money.
Right. So you're kissing butt to make money.
You're doing whatever you can.
You're
to
a
raise
political
money.
stripper.
You're doing whatever you can to raise money.
You're a political stripper.
And so you're siding up with whoever you can
to
get paid. To make sure you have money.
You're twerking for people like Walmart.
These other projects.
Yeah, you're twerking for Walmart.
You twerking for change, yeah. To some degree, you twerking for change. But again, the reason you got to do that is why? Because black folk don't support. I mean, think about it. You got the OK program.
You don't like black folks, do you?
I love black folks.
You've been dogging out black folks this whole show.
No, I love black people. I'm just pointing out. I love my people,
Robert,
but I'm also pointing out.
Black.
I'm black as day. I'm black as night. I'm also pointing out the issues within our community. The one thing that I think that is most important is that we can never, ever have any kind of movement if we don't own our elected officials. Mm-hmm. If you don't own your elected officials, you can't. Okay. I don't care who you are.
That's
you
great.
Can't have no movement.
That's great. So before you can own your elected officials, you got to understand why you need to own them. So it goes back to what I've been saying, is that we have to have a educational mental shift.
And how you plan to do that, Dave? See, we right back where we are. The chicken or the egg. We right back where we start. Every time we do this, we end up right back here.
If I don't look, let me ask you something. What's that old saying in the Bible? You teach a man to fish, feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish, you can feed him for a lifetime. That's the concept here. Is that, yeah, we can teach him how to get over for the moment. That's what black people have been doing. We great at getting over for the moment. We great at squeezing 2 dimes out of a nickel. We great at that. What we need to start teaching black people is how to get over for decades, how to get over for a generation. We need to teach black people about generational wealth. And it all begins with self-awareness. It all begins with who you are. If you think you can, you will. Robert, you wouldn't be a successful businessman if Robert didn't think he could be a successful businessman. I wouldn't be this super talented, great talk show host if I didn't think I was a super talented, great talk show host. It's about a mental state of being, brother. And I know that sounds simplistic, but it really isn't, because the most powerful weapon in the world is your mind. And what they've done to us is destroyed our minds across this world, not just in America, but they did the okie doke on us, and it's going to take us teaching our children. That's why I pounded it into my kids' head. And when they have grandchildren, I'm going to pound it into their heads. We have to start changing our mindset to understand that we are beautiful people and we deserve what we get. Okay? Now, you think I'm kidding about this? All I got to do is talk to you about the doll experiment. The black doll and the white doll. And the black kids picking the white doll over the black doll. And when they ask the question, why are you picking the white doll? They say because the white doll is prettier. Even kids 2 and 3 years old have been desensitized and understood and brainwashed to understand that because of their color, that they are second class. We have got to change that. That's the only way this is going to work. It's the only way we're going to fix this problem. But the problem is we're spending too much time on Sundays in the wrong damn place. That's why I tell people, if you got a church, you ought to be teaching black history every day. You ought to have every Sunday your doors open, you ought to have a black history segment. Every time your doors open, you ought to have a financial segment. If you are in a daycare center, if you black and you teaching black children in a daycare center, not when they get to pre-K, I'm talking about when they're 2 and 3 years old, because that's when their minds are most malleable. At that point, what you should be doing is teaching black history, teaching about self, teaching about finances. That's how you fix this problem. As I said, I'm not so vain to think that I'm going to be here when this change happens, because I don't think I am. But it is our job at this point, at least my job at this point, is to continue to plant the seeds. Continue to plant the seeds. And everybody is not going to get it. Everybody's not going to understand. Everybody's going to think I'm crazy. Yeah, I am crazy. I've told you that, okay? But I'm going to continue to plant those seeds, and hopefully my grandchildren will not have to grow up in this mess. Now, you can call me naive all you want, because I can see it coming out your mouth right now, okay? But that's what we've got to do.
You are super naive, but I love it. I think it's really
And there it goes, the N-word again.
I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool. When I first became an advocate, it took me years.
That's present tense, by the way.
It took me years. When I first became an advocate, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've always been an advocate. I won't ever be an active advocate. But
that's an oxymoron.
No, it's not.
Advocate means that you're actually doing something.
Yeah, but I won't always be active. So when I first became an advocate, I think that, excuse me, I think the thing that I learned is you have people who think like me, that the solution is really simple and all you have to do is get involved and it will be fixed. I will admit that yeah, we were really successful. And I say we because I didn't do anything by myself. I was always working with a group of people or some people or someone or a director or whoever else. We were really successful at getting things. We were successful at getting things done, right? That being said, we don't have enough people doing enough things that we can see a true impact. Because what I found is that you have guys like me and Ken who we were focused on certain issues, but we had to leave those alone because whenever something happened, we had to be reactionary because there was no other.
You didn't have enough soldiers.
Well, it's a difference between having a soldier and having an informed soldier, right?
Well, my soldiers are going to be informed.
Well, for a long time, I was a soldier, but I wasn't very informed. I can come up and blast you, but I couldn't offer you the solution. I couldn't tell you how the problem was created or what the solution is for the problem. To me, that's just as bad as not having anybody there at all. You got anybody who can come there and tell you what's wrong, but who can offer a solution and tell you where you get what you need from to make it happen. Those are the kind of people that we need to start grooming to do those kind of things for us. But
so you're willing to help groom those people?
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to help groom.
Okay, because it's funny you say that because Tanya makes an excellent point here. She says, well, teach advocate classes, Robert, so these new activists don't make the same mistakes.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
Let me...
Oh, wait a minute, Robert.
No.
What?
Tanya made a great point, but let me be sure I clarify this. Robert Webb, I'd be more than happy to teach a person. I'm not teaching a class unless they're willing to pay me. Because again, let me tell y'all something now.
Here we go.
No, seriously.
Here we go.
I had decided, just so y'all can understand, because I don't ever want y'all to misconstrue what the hell I'm saying to y'all. I am still going to be an advocate to some degree, but I realize that I need to focus on the economics of our community. Right. Because nobody.
But you can't do that both.
I can't do
you
both.
only use.
I can't serve two masters.
You can. Yes, you can,
No,
Robert.
There's
a wealth of knowledge that you have that you can teach people.
Hold on, Dave. There's a different mindset being a businessman versus being an advocate. There's two different mindsets.
You're not. It's like a professor and a student.
No, it's two different mindsets, Dave. I have two different. To be an advocate, I had one mindset.
You're not being an advocate. You're just teaching people how to become advocates.
Yeah, but again, Dave, maybe you're not listening to me.
You don't like black people, do you?
I love black people. I love my people, Dave. I love them with all my heart. I'd be more than happy to work with a person. I cannot work with a group.
Okay.
Hold on.
Tanya says $25 a person.
Tanya, stop.
What now? What?
No.
What?
I will be happy.
Okay. I got 10 people.
Yeah, get your class
10
together.
people.
Get your class together.
25 people.
All right, get your class together.
$25 a person.
Get your class together. All right, whatever, y'all. Whatever. Because y'all ain't listening to me.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. The more involved I became in advocacy, what I realized is that we were fighting the wrong things, right? It was cool to try to give fellas jobs. It was cool to try to get them to build houses in our community. All that was cool. But what I realized was that at some point during that process, you lose control, because if you're fighting to get fellas jobs, right? It's a whole bunch of other stuff that comes into play with that you lose out on. Well, what I decided was, what I realized was, the more I did that, what I realized is that the money to improve my community is already here. The money to improve my community is here. Unfortunately, what's happening is people who look like me, who don't look like me, are getting this money and hiring people who don't look like me, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find folks who want to do these kind of things and helping them to access this money. Because again, I got a totally different mentality now. I'm about saving the world, but I'm about saving the world through capitalism. I ain't about saving the world through advocacy. I'm about saving the world. I'm about saving my people through capitalism.
So you just said that you're getting people to understand how to fight this through what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
You're still an advocate, bro.
No, I'm not an advocate. I'm a capitalist, baby. I'm a capitalist.
You can run, you can run, but there's no hiding place.
Boy, I'm glad. What'd you do with that money? I'm singing lessons. You do that money.
I know that.
Because you showed it, spend it.
I'm just
saying. You showed it, spend it on singing lessons.
Yeah, I went and gave it to the homeless guy around the corner.
No, man.
There you go. Now, I'm just saying, man. You just said you're teaching people.
I'm not teaching them. It's not really a teaching process. All the thing
You
I'm
can
doing
run from your
is I'm
leadership.
pointing them in the direction
You
of
can
where
run
those
from your
funds-
calling all you
I'm
want.
pointing them in the direction of the funds.
You
That's all I'm
can
doing.
run from your calling all
I'm
you
not
want.
running, Dave.
Okay.
I'm pointing them in the direction of the funds.
But I might be dead and gone, but one day you're going to think back and say, you know, Dave said I had this calling.
Oh, Jesus. No, Dave. No. No, my brother. No, my brother.
You know I'm telling the truth.
No,
You're gonna say you're gonna be riding in your Space Lincoln, you know, your hovercraft,
No, my brother.
and all of a sudden I'm gonna pop in your head, and it's gonna be a little voice, Robert, I'm proud of you.
No, my brother.
Look at what you have birthed in Little Rock.
Honestly, I don't see it
The
happening.
Robert
because-
Webb
Honestly,
Center.
no, I'm gonna stop you now. Let me tell you now. Let me be clear with you. Honestly, I don't see it happening because I've talked to several people who are doing things kind of already in the community. They ain't feeling it. So,
But that's them.
yeah. Well, my thing is,
You're
I'm not
on a
trying to-
different mission.
I'm not
Robert.
trying to recreate the wheel.
You're-
I'm trying to find people who are already in these
Exactly.
spaces and get them to access this
You're-
money
you're-
for whatever reason they want.
Your path to enlightenment is a different road traveled.
Oh my God, Umi. Come on, Umi. What are you doing, man?
You know I'm telling you, you're running from it. You're fighting it with every ounce of your being.
I am a
but
capitalist.
it exudes through how you speak.
I am a
It
capitalist.
exudes through
I
how
am a
you
capitalist.
walk. It exudes through how you carry yourself. You, my black brother, is an advocate, and it will never ever change.
I'm done
You can
a
say it,
capitalist, Dave.
but you don't believe it. Look at me in my eye. Look at me in my eye.
I'm looking at you, Dave. I'm a capitalist, Dave.
You got something in your eye.
First and foremost, Dave, I'm a capitalist. I'm not an advocate.
Okay.
No shape, form, or fashion.
You're a capitalistic advocate.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm a capitalist.
You're a capitalistic advocate.
I'm not a capitalist
You are.
advocate. I'm a
Look,
capitalist.
you got to teach these people, man. This is how we can fix this problem. We need people like you.
But I think
You know,
I think that's even more important though. How can you say you're gonna elect someone if they don't know where the money is, if they don't understand the budgets and the organizations they're getting ready to go into? Then how they going to impact change?
so you're right on point with that. But why aren't you saying that to the people who are doing the electing, the electorate? They need to understand
Because
that.
I am done with that.
Robert, you just can't turn your back on our people. You know what you just did? You just moved out into Chenal in a gated community. That's what you just did.
Well, y'all holler at me when y'all come out this way. Because I'm done. I'm done.
Can I get the code to your gate?
You got the code. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on in. Come on in, brother.
That's what you've done, man. You can't. Look, I know it's hard.
No, it's not hard. It's just
I know.
this is the problem.
You know, you get frustrated.
I'm not even
'cause-
frustrated, Dave.
Yes, you are. I can see.
No,
Come on. You
the
need a hug.
thing for me, whatever, Dave.
Oh, well, I wasn't going to give it to you.
The thing for me is that the more entrenched I became in the process, and the more I learned, and the more I saw, and the more I worked, I realized that fighting these fights, there was always one thing we were missing.
The Robert Webb Black Activist Center. God, our listeners are so great. I mean, that really has a nice ring to it.
Y'all tripping.
It does.
Y'all tripping.
Why you trying to be all modest?
Y'all tripping.
Come on, man.
No, not gonna happen.
And
Can I finish my point?
Can you
please?
imagine having a Robert Webb Activist Center
No.
and it's living
No.
and young people, when you're
No.
old, crotchety
No.
old fool,
No.
and young people can walk in there and
No.
see what Robert Webb did and the changes that he made?
So, you know what? My goal when I started doing this, I realized that when they start, giving you pats on the back and telling you how wonderful you were, you soon started to forget why you were there, right?
You got the big head, in other
You
words.
kind of get the big head, and then you kind of make things about you when they should be about the community. And so
Did you do that, Robert?
No, I made a conscious choice not to do that because I never put myself in situations where I never went to the galas when I was invited. I never attended the galas. I never went to all that stuff because I wanted to remember why I was doing this. I wasn't doing this.
Then you need to go like one a year. Don't go to all of them.
I didn't go to any.
You need to go to one.
didn't go to
So
any.
when you come in, that's a, ooh,
I didn't go to any.
Dave Coleman's here.
I didn't go to any. And I didn't go to any intentionally because I wanted to remember why I was doing this. I wasn't doing
Do
this
you go
to
to them
a
now?
gala. No, I don't go to them now.
Why?
Just don't. But I probably will start soon because they're my peoples. I need to be hanging around my people, seeing what's happening. They're my people's now.
Oh, so you want to use them now?
Exactly, yeah. You can go to them. But that's my
You
point.
certainly learned well from the white man.
I sure did. But that's the point, though. I mean, I wanted to make sure that I understood that I kept my focus because, like I said, there were a lot of things that I worked on that it was a time I needed to be the lead. It was a time I needed to step back and let somebody else lead, right? And it was really good. It was really good for me to be able to discern when I should and shouldn't do that, right? Because I learned that
Come
helps
back
you be
to
more
us,
successful.
Robert. Come back.
Because I think the
Come
most
back
important
to
stop,
us,
Dave.
Robert.
I think the most important part of being a leader is knowing when to say, okay, I need to step back. Dave, you need to step in. You need to lead this thing. Stop, man.
But exactly. See what I'm saying. Who have you appointed as your successor?
You got to have something to give somebody to have a successor.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Who are you grooming?
That would be tough, man. That would be tough to find somebody I could groom. Because, I have to find someone almost like me.
You're not grooming your sons?
No, my son's actually, man. My son, if anybody, I say it's going to be Ryan, but I kind of got a feeling it'll end up probably being Austin. Because Austin's more like me than Ryan. And so I probably feel like if anybody, it'll be.
What are their names again?
Christian, Austin, and Ryan.
They got white folks' names.
Them just regular black names, man. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. I ain't thinking about you. Just because I ain't named my son Shaka, man. Don't do that, man. Stop it, man. But no, seriously. I think.
You know what my son's name is?
Yeah, I know, man. I know. Yeah, okay. Jesus, you're such a black racist. Your kids' names are so wrong. But yeah, man, it's
that was really funny though.
Yeah,
Okay, that was.
You are sick, bro. It's really hard, man. It's really hard to find somebody. I think my boys, man. I'm not trying to instill my political views in my kids, right?
Ryan has your values.
No. Ryan's finding himself, and I want Ryan to find.
Yeah, himself. Robert, he was a Little Rock. Robert Kaiser asked me, was he a Little Rock Central graduate?
Hell to the old. What is that? Is that bad?
Yeah, he was.
Is that bad?
No, he's like, I'm kind of like you, Robert Kaiser. I mean, I think that Little Rock Central graduate would have a little bit more pride in himself and not turn his back on his community. But that's okay.
I'm not turning my back on
that's okay. We love you.
I'm just going in a different direction.
Okay, so quickly before we get out of here, a couple other points.
Yeah, babe, come on, let's go.
So imagine, we talk about making plans all the time. And one of the biggest downfalls of black people is that we make plans. The first thing we do is run to the media and tell everybody, we gonna do this here.
Tomorrow, we coming for y'all.
Yeah. And then, of course, when we come for them tomorrow, they line up with the National Guard ready to blow our brains out. So I bring this up because, Donald Trump has been fighting this impeachment thing, right? And, of course, he was, this thing with the Ukraine leader and tried to get him to dig up dirt on Biden. So they decided to come up with some talking points and send out to all of their Republican operatives. They sent it to the Democrats.
No.
I kid you not, dude. I kid you not. This dude is an imbecile, man, and everybody that's around him. Their talking points to combat this Ukraine thing, they sent it out to Democrats. But y'all ain't voting. Y'all keep that fooling all you want. Go right ahead, okay? I just want to throw that out there for you.
What's some of the talking points? They share?
Yeah, they shared them. I posted on my wall. I needed to throw that in there because.
Give me a couple of them.
I don't close the window now.
Okay.
But I just wanted to throw that out there. There was a couple other things I wanted to talk about. Oh, make sure you go out. And we've been talking about really this subject matter, what we've talked about. And we talk about this all the time in a roundabout way. It's about really leadership. When you agree for our people, right now we are devoid of leadership. And There's an article that was posted in Young Entrepreneurs, and it's about Rich Paul. Now, Rich Paul is LeBron James's agent, super agent. And the article is entitled, "What Leaders Can Learn from NBA Agent Rich Paul." I would advise y'all to read that article. If you think you're a leader, if you want to be a leader, go out and read that article about Rich Paul, because this brother is the real deal, folks. And we've got to develop some type of consciousness in our community, because if we don't, we ain't going nowhere.
But I'm gonna say something. If you want to be a leader, the thing that helped me, I read an autobiography about Lyndon Johnson. That was the biggest piece of success. That was the biggest. That helped me more than anything I've ever read. The unauthorized autobiography of Lyndon Johnson.
Yeah,
helped me more than anything I've read.
Well,
he talked a lot about his strategies and things he did and how he got people, how he persuaded people, and sometimes he was really nice. You know, the one that really got me is the one thing that really struck home with me. So he was in the elevator with Wilbur D. Mills, right? Mm-hmm. And he needed Wilbur D. Mills vote on something, I don't know what it was. And he had these presidential.
Wait a minute, you said he was in the elevator, but not in the pool.
In the elevator.
Oh, okay.
What the hell?
You know, that's where they found Fannie Flagg and Wilbur.
Oh yeah. So he said they were in the elevator, and Wilbur D. Mills commented about the cufflinks. And so Lyndon Johnson said, "This is my favorite pair of cufflinks." It just had the the presidential seal on them. Mm-hmm. Lyndon Johnson takes them off and he gives them to Wilbur D. Mills. He says, "Hey, they're yours. They're my favorites, but they're yours." So he got his vote, right? Mm-hmm. They later said that he had like 200 pairs of cufflinks, and every day he would take a pair off and give them to somebody and tell them that they were his favorite.
Yep.
But again, I mean, it's just about learning. It's about learning.
Well, it's understanding the process and doing a practical application. And it's like anything, folks. Y'all think I'm kidding, but if you're gonna get anything accomplished, you got to get some plans. We don't have any plans. If I'm if I'm gonna start a business, even though I have a business, 2 businesses, if I'm gonna start a new business, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna write a business plan. I want to know what I'm gonna do with this business. What am I gonna sell? What are my projections as far as how much money I can make? What do I think I'm gonna make in a year, in 3 years, in 5 years? That's a business plan. That doesn't mean I'm gonna go by that plan every day. That doesn't mean I can't augment that plan and change it as things develop, but at least I have a framework. Black people don't have a framework, folks. And this is by design. This is by design. Look, Hurricane Katrina should have taught us one thing if it didn't teach us anything else. Don't you remember when those black folks were trying to escape the water and those white boys were standing up on that hill and trained rifles on them and said, "Y'all can't come up here"? Think about that. They had their little land. They had planned for Katrina. Y'all were still hanging out on the bridge.
But they couldn't afford to, Dave.
You're missing the point.
Okay, what's the point?
I'm saying is that we have got to start planning for the Katrinas. You know they're coming. It comes in different forms. The last time it hit, which reminds me, you do know that they're getting ready. There's a proposal to get private prisons in Little Rock, in Arkansas again, right?
I didn't know that.
Well, that was the other story I wanted to cover real fast. While y'all out here banging and slanging, acting a damn fool, they getting ready to make some money off your asses right here in Little Rock. Okay? They'll be sending you all down to southern parts of Arkansas. And I'm gonna tell you, folks, I went to college down there, and it gets hot. Hot. Okay? I'm just simply saying to you all that if we don't start making some plans, this is gonna continue. This is gonna continue. And until y'all get mad, and I mean get mad to the point where you want to do something, it's like when your man cheat on you, he done cheated on you 20 times. You find on that 21st time, you say you got mad enough to walk out on him. You didn't care what you left, you just had to go. It's time to walk out on the man. And you know who I'm talking about. Okay? Come home, black folk. Come on. Come on. Woo! Feel like preaching up in there, Robert. Go ahead, take it over from there.
I ain't a very good preacher. I will take up a collection, though. I will take that collection, player. Set that collection out for me.
You know, so I'm just saying we got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. Okay. Y'all know it, and I know it. And if we don't figure that out soon, we're gonna be doomed, folks. We're gonna be doomed.
We are,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we are. We are lost. And we don't, you know, the bad thing about it is being lost and don't realize you lost. You know that?
Yeah.
That's the worst thing about it, is that we're lost and we don't even know we're lost. But I'm going to be honest with you, it's not just black folks, it's white folks too.
Yeah.
It really is, folks. It's all y'all. I'm just saying. Anyway, we got to get out of here. Good show. Tomorrow, the Friday show. I think Cliff will be in studio tomorrow. So we'll look forward to seeing him and talking to him as well. We got the bottom line, folks, is that we got a whole lot of work to do. Whole lot of work to do. And if anybody know anybody who's in with the marijuana clinics, I don't want the weed.
You need some marijuana?
No, I want to make some of that money. They've to this point $10 million in revenue.
How much?
$10 million. And they ain't been in business 6 months. We missing it, folks.
Yeah, by design, though.
We missing it. All right. Anyway, we got to get out of here, Robert. Go for it.
Hey, spend money in your own community. If you don't, nobody else will. Peace.
A voteless people is a voiceless people. A voiceless people is a defenseless people. And a defenseless people is a contradiction to democracy. Y'all have a great day.
You've been listening to Black Focus, where we discuss our issues with our solutions and our voices. Join us every weekday afternoon at 1 p.m.
So we're going to start Monday just having us like pre-show meetings.
Yeah, that sounds good. That'll be cool.
Yeah, because we missed a lot of shit we should be talking about.
Yeah, that sounds good to me, man.
All right, bro. Oh, fuck. I got to stretch my leg. All right, I'll hit you later.
Okay.
Hey, we gotta let go. You working out in the evening?
Right now with this central broadcast, a lot of my time in the evenings is taken up. So.
All right. Well,
Okay.